Hello. Crime and punishment is the topic on which I am going to talk to you a few words. First of all, let us understand what a crime is. What is a crime? Crime is an act which is against social morals. Any deed which would affect derogatorily the society is a crime. Individual act, if it does not affect the society, is not a crime. Supposing I steal some money from my brother's pocket within my house, and if my brother does not mind it, that is not a crime. Now, our society has enough criminals. Criminal tendency is an inborn tendency in human beings. Some say that men are born clean, noble, high with good qualities. But I am not ready to accept it. Some men are great souls, but mostly people are born with dirt, intellectual dirt, mental dirt. If you want proof for my statement, you analyze the elementary school student's life. Boys who are in the first standard or second standard of their elementary school's life will display qualities variously. Some boys will be good, some boys will be noble, some will be rowdy-like. This is innate in them, inborn in them. That is perhaps due to their genealogy. They have some criminal genes in them. That again is the result of his parentage, possibly. Now, crimes are of two kinds. One is that which can be corrected by advice, by intellectual approach. The second type is that which cannot be corrected by conversations, by listening to good speeches, by advice. Such crimes are so physiologically innate and imbibed that they can be curbed only by punishments. And such people are not very few in number. They are quite a handful. So, believers who believe in God, fate and a force which is above human design, they say that God sees but waits patiently. Supposing I commit a murder today, God does not jump down immediately to punish me. I continue to be a criminal. So divine punishment is not instant. Such punishments are very much post-dated. So, religiously speaking, it is understandable. But socially speaking, we cannot tolerate this because the society has to get along with these people. If we allow criminals to do crimes and be patient waiting for God's punishment, society cannot be smooth, society cannot be normal, it will be a chaos. So we need a different agent who would interfere and punish them in such a way that they would not repeat it, or they are thrown away from the social scene. In those days the king did it. In all countries, kings were given the power to punish criminals. In Indian Shastras, Manusmriti says that king is the representative of God and that he should punish criminals. If he fails to do so, he becomes guilty of that crime. If he does not punish a criminal and he allows them to move about out of mercy or partiality, he is equally a criminal as that fellow who commits the crime. Because when he is given the power to punish them, he does not exercise it. He is negligent. Then monarchy disappeared, democracy came. Today, almost all countries have democracy only. Now, in the place of a king, an elected leader goes there to sit on the throne and enact laws. Now, the responsibilities of the king falls upon the shoulders of these leaders. Only difference is the democratic leader does not have a crown on his head. He does not wear the royal robes. He looks as normal and as simple as a citizen. But he is empowered to interfere with the social behavior when it is being affected by criminals. Now, as long as this punishment is there, society can be free of such criminology. But unfortunately, in the modern days, we find loose or permissive behavior on part of the administrators. When you allow crimes to happen and to repeat, society gets vexed. That society is a corrupt society. Some say that forgiveness is a noble virtue. They quote religious scriptures that you must show the other cheek to the beater. When they quote from the religion, what happens is people are afraid to counteract because religion is something upon which they live or according to which they live and act. But now religion, does it say that criminals must be allowed to survive? Is it true? No. Let us take the Hindu Shastras, for example. God took incarnations many times, of which 10 incarnations are spoken of very importantly. If you observe closely, we can find out that each incarnation had as a part of its duty to kill evildoers. Rama killed thousands and thousands of Rakshasas, demons. Sri Krishna started killing them even from the age of his cradle days. Narasimha, Lord Narasimha killed Hiranya and he was reputed for that. So, God, who is supposed to be an embodiment of mercy and forgiveness, does not show forgiveness on such occasions. He exercises an iron hand upon these criminals. He has been rude and crude in dealing with them. Now, why I cite from these scriptures is, never seek to the policy of mercy, at least in the matter of punishing criminals. Some argue that hanging a criminal to death is very brutal. They ask, if he commits a murder, should we also do the same thing by killing him? It is brutal, it is aboriginal. But I don't agree with that. There are people who cannot be corrected and who by their mere survival in society will be corrupting society again and again. Such people need a permanent stop for their breathing. So, we have to be hard-hearted. We should exercise an iron hand upon these people. While dealing with these people, keep aside your forgiveness, your mercy, and the soft feelings. If you are not like that, you are doing another cruelty to the remaining society. The remaining society depends upon the administrator's administration. When a cultivator cultivates the land, he is particularly removing the weeds which would cause harm to the main paddy. Similarly, in society, there are people who have to be removed, who have to be thrown away. With them, it's very difficult to get along. Supposing some organ of your body gets sick, it is infected, abscess appears there. Doctor says, you better remove this hand. If you don't remove it, the whole body will be infected. You will die. So what do? We cut the hand, we remove it. The same way, in society there are some members who have to be removed. So there is no point in talking of mercy, forgiveness, kindness and such things. God Himself is not so. So a real ruler has to depend upon such Shastras only. Let him not misinterpret the Shastras, the scriptures. In those days, kings were very merciless in punishing such people. Even today, there are countries where the rulers are very tight-fisted in dealing with such people. And in such countries, we find crimes in very less proportions. Unfortunately, our country is now affected by such a misunderstanding which would say that we must show mercy to prisoners, we must be very kind to criminals. When you are kind to the criminal, you are cruel to the remaining society. You must understand that. What is the ratio? What is the proportion? If there are 5 criminals in society, 95 people are innocent. By showing kindness to those 5% of people, you are cruel to the remaining society. 95% of the people are going to be affected. You must bear in mind that. Of course, I agree, it is very cruel to hang a man, to slash him, to beat him, to make him starve, and to subject him to hard punishments. I do agree. But it is like the kind cruelty of a surgeon's knife. When the surgeon takes a knife to cut open your abdomen, he does it out of goodwill. He wants to remove the tumor out of your belly, which means you are going to be healthy and happy thereafter. Similarly, this is an operation. This is a kind cruelty of a surgeon's knife. Just as a teacher who doesn't want to spare the rod so that the student will be intelligent, he will grow up as a good boy in society, the ruler must be that. So, when the court analyzes the case of a particular criminal, it comes to a decision that the particular person should be punished cruelly. Such a judgment must not be interfered with by higher authorities. Unfortunately, we have a legal system which is able to supersede the statements of the lower courts. In the lower courts, a particular criminal has been judged for very cruel punishments, but corruption enters in there. So the higher court interferes and says, we shall forgive him. Such an administration is harmful, it is suicidal. We are destroying our own happiness. So, it might be surprising to note that religion which speaks of forgiveness and soft heart is very rude and cruel in this matter. But such a thing is very healthy for society. So let us learn that we shall be very hard-hearted in dealing with criminals who deserve good punishment. It is religious, it is a social welfare, it is a humanitarian act. Thank you.